In one American county, researchers went looking for ticks and found something stranger. In places where ticks should have been thriving, many seemed to be disappearing. That turns a familiar public health story inside out. The question is not what is making ticks spread. It is what might be killing them. The suspects are everywhere. Predators, parasites, disease, weather, habitat, maybe something no one has proven yet. And every simple answer breaks down in the evidence. A county with fewer ticks might sound like good news, but for scientists, it is a crime scene with the evidence scattered across grass, leaf litter, deer trails, and mouse nests. Ticks are not just annoying pests waiting on the edge of a hiking trail. They are disease vectors, carrying pathogens that can cause Lyme disease, anaplasmosis, ehrlichiosis, and other infections. They are parasites on birds, reptiles, mammals, and people. And because they are sensitive to hosts, humidity, temperature, and habitat, their numbers can reveal that something in the local ecosystem has changed. But proving a real die-off is much harder than noticing that people are pulling fewer ticks off their socks. Investigators would need drag cloth surveys through the same kinds of habitat, at the same points in the season, repeated across multiple years. They would need to identify the species because a drop in black-legged ticks would mean something different from a drop in Lone Star ticks. They would also need to compare life stages. That part matters because a tick population is not one single crowd. Larvae hatch from eggs and often feed on small animals. Nymphs are tiny, easy to miss, and especially important for human disease risk. Adults feed on larger hosts and are the ones people notice most often. A bad year for larvae does not automatically mean adults are vanishing. A quiet adult season does not prove the next generation failed. So before anyone can say something is killing the ticks, they have to prove the ticks are truly missing. And the first suspect is an animal the internet has already convicted: the opossum. Opossums earned their reputation because they walk straight through tick country. At night, they nose through leaf litter, crawl under brush, follow fence lines, and move along the messy edges where lawns become woods. Those are the same humid, shaded places where ticks wait with their front legs raised, trying to grab onto the next animal that brushes past. The famous claim comes from grooming experiments. In controlled settings, researchers placed larval ticks on captive animals, then checked how many survived. Opossums removed a striking share of them. The animals groomed intensely, and many of the ticks that attached or crawled on them never made it off alive. That result turned into one of the most repeated wildlife facts on the internet. A single opossum can kill thousands of ticks. Depending on how the estimate is framed, people describe it as thousands in a season, or sometimes thousands in a week under experimental conditions. It is easy to see why the idea caught fire. The opossum became a wandering tick vacuum, cleaning the woods without being asked. But the leap from a cage to a county is huge. Lab work can show what an opossum is capable of when ticks are placed on its body. It does not prove how many ticks opossums meet in real habitats, how often those ticks choose opossums over mice, birds, deer, or reptiles, or whether enough opossums are present to affect the whole landscape. Field studies have complicated the story. Some surveys have found that wild opossums do not always carry many ticks, and in some places they appear to be less important to tick populations than the popular claim suggests. That does not mean they never kill ticks. It means their real-world impact may be smaller, patchier, and harder to measure than the viral version. So opossums remain a plausible suspect on the body-level scale. They can destroy ticks that end up on them. But if ticks are disappearing across an entire county, grooming alone probably is not enough. Something broader would have to be happening. Guinea fowl are much easier to imagine as tick control, because they actually patrol the places people notice ticks most. On rural properties, these loud, helmet-headed birds wander through lawns, gardens, barnyards, fence lines, and pasture edges, pecking constantly as they move. They eat insects, spiders, small arthropods, seeds, and anything else they can grab from short grass or loose soil. If a tick is exposed in their path, a guinea fowl can eat it. That is why some farms keep them as living pest control. A flock can spend the day sweeping around houses, animal pens, and mowed areas where people and pets cross paths with ticks. In the right setting, they may lower the number of ticks in the specific places they forage most often. There is some practical logic behind the reputation. Guinea fowl are active during the day. They cover open ground. They investigate the low vegetation where ticks may be waiting. Unlike opossums, they are not just killing ticks that climb onto their bodies. They are searching the ground itself. But their limits show up quickly. Guinea fowl do not evenly search forests, wetlands, brushy ravines, and every private yard in a county. Their impact depends on flock size, where they are allowed to roam, how often they return to the same areas, local habitat, predators, weather, and whether enough households are actually keeping them. Few backyard flocks can change the tick experience around a house or farm without changing the tick population across miles of mixed landscape. So guinea fowl are a believable local helper, not a clean county-wide answer. They can remove ticks where their beaks can reach. But the mystery needs something that can operate far beyond barnyards. That points away from the predators we can watch walking across the lawn, and toward killers hidden under our feet. Microscopic fungi living in the soil. Microscopic fungi do not need to chase a tick. They wait where ticks already spend much of their lives, in damp soil, leaf litter, moss, and low vegetation. These are entomopathogenic fungi, a group of fungi that infect arthropods. Their spores can attach to the outside of an insect, mite, or tick. Under the right conditions, the fungus germinates, pushes through the outer cuticle, grows inside the body, and can eventually kill the host. For a tick, that makes the forest floor a dangerous place. Ticks are not only sitting on grass blades waiting for a deer or a human, they drop into the litter to avoid drying out, molt between life stages, lay eggs, and shelter during harsh weather. If the local soil is humid enough, the temperature is suitable, and fungal spores are present in the right concentration, infection becomes more likely. This is why fungi such as Metarhizium and Bovaria get attention in tick control research. Scientists have tested them because they can kill ticks without acting like a broad chemical spray. Some formulations are even studied as biological control tools, especially around yards, trails, and animal areas. But a natural outbreak is much harder to prove than a lab result. Finding fewer ticks in a county does not automatically mean fungi did it. Researchers would need infected ticks, fungal growth, genetic or microscopic identification, and evidence that the pathogen was actually killing them in the field. Weather could also blur the trail. A wet season might help fungi spread. A dry spell might stop them. Leaf litter depth, soil chemistry, shade, host movement, and temperature could turn one patch of woods into a fungal trap while another patch nearby stays normal. That is what makes this suspect so compelling. The killer would not leave feathers, tracks, or tooth marks. It might leave only a dead tick, a few threads of fungal growth, and evidence that becomes visible only under a microscope. The trap in this mystery is looking for one killer. Tick populations almost never rise or fall because of a single force. They are pushed around by food, weather, predators, disease, vegetation, and the way people use the land. Change several of those at once, and a county can suddenly look like something invisible has swept through it. Start with hosts. Young ticks often feed on small mammals and birds. Adult ticks often need larger animals, especially deer. If deer patterns shift, if mice decline, or if birds move through different habitat, ticks lose blood meals at key life stages. They do not need every host to disappear. A small drop at the wrong stage can cut the next generation sharply. Then add predators and cleaners. Opossums can kill ticks while grooming. Guinea fowl and other birds can eat ticks they find while foraging. Ants, beetles, spiders, and mites can attack eggs or vulnerable ticks in the leaf litter. None of these animals has to be a perfect tick vacuum to matter. They only have to remove enough ticks to weaken the population. Then add fungi. A humid stretch of weather could help spores infect ticks hiding near the soil. A dry spell could kill ticks directly by dehydration. Dense shade, taller grass, leaf litter, and brushy edges can either protect ticks or expose them, depending on the season. Human behavior sits on top of all of it. More mowing, fewer deer corridors, controlled burns, new housing, pesticide use, or changes in livestock and pets can reshape the tick habitat without anyone calling it a tick control program. That means the real answer could be a stack of pressures. Fewer hosts, more grooming, more predation, better conditions for pathogens, and worse conditions for tick survival. Nature rarely uses one weapon. It uses networks. The strongest suspect may be the ecosystem itself. Mammals grooming ticks away, birds picking through the grass, and fungi killing from the soil up. Nobody knows is not failure. It is where real ecological detective work begins. Thanks for watching. Comment what overlooked force you have noticed shaping nature near you.